He's done a really good job in these cars.
And in our last race at Darlington, he was the first non-Nextel Cup driver to finish. He's got Warren tires, so Regan Smith shoots on past him. 80 laps of 200 complete. There was the spark. A little bit of fun.
Be careful, Grasshopper.
Things continue to cycle through on this long run under green. We had a caution at lap 3, another at lap 10, and now we're at lap 84, and we've had a long green run and a series of pit stops. And Jay Sauter will be back in to remove that adjusting wrench.
Talked about it a while ago. Mistakes under these green flag stops, they will completely take you out of this race in a heartbeat.
Well, when you watch the catch can man, and he's the one that usually does that, he's doing about 5 jobs back there. He's trying to hold the gas can in the hole, hold the spare can, and crank wedge all at the same time. He's a busy man.
Now remember, Kevin Harvick had all of those problems with his left front tire, had to come back to pit road. Here's leader Matt Kenseth driving by him. That's going to put Kevin now, I think, possibly 3 laps down.
Matt?
Mike, his night has taken an even greater turn for the worse. Harvick says, I don't know what we've done to the race car, but it is horrible. The front's not down on the racetrack, and it feels like I've got a flat right rear tire. He says that's how bad it feels right now.
Wow.
And actually, he's just going to be 2 laps down right now.
Okay. But when you have trouble in the pits, it just kind of lets all the air out of you. And now he's just kind of aggravated with the car and everything else.
There's 17. Matt Kenseth, your leader, at 87 laps by a second over Carl Edwards. I want to get back to Jeff Hammond, who has been looking at multiple replays of the Tony Stewart crash. We speculated on something that may have cut down a left rear, like perhaps a broken track bar. Jeff, what did you find?
Mike definitely found a situation where the left rear tire was still up as he made initial contact with the wall. I know some of the guys on the team speculated the left rear tire had gone down and it helped turn him up into the wall. It didn't show that by our replays that we looked at. Something broke on the rear end housing and looked more like the track bar came loose. Then it cut the left rear tire down after he hit the wall.
Thanks, Jeff.
It just didn't make sense the direction that rear end was from hitting the wall. It's almost like something broke. Now, we talk about mistakes on pit road. Jimmy Johnson in the 48 car didn't necessarily have mistakes. They just had a very slow pit stop, 20 seconds. And what it's done to him, it's now put him a lap down to Matt Kenseth in that 17 car. But he's the first car lap down in 15. Should we get a caution? He's looking for a caution. Another guy looking for a caution right now, I think, is Greg Biffle in that 16 car. They'd love to see a caution. Greg could get his left side tires that he's never got. Jimmy Johnson will be back on the lead lap.
And Mike, the track bar mount on the rear is so long, and they have extended them down so far that it doesn't surprise me that they would have a problem with possibly the rear mount or something in that holds the track bar in position.
Here's Kurt Busch, who after pit stops finds himself in 5th, going past Stacy Compton there. Steve?
Mike, before the pit stop, we reported that Kurt Busch's car had gotten bad tight. Now he's saying that he feels like there's too much camber, that it's hurting them on the entrance to the corners.
And what he's talking about is in the right front, you lean that tire in at the top to help the car turn through the middle. But it can hurt the entrance when you have too much, and that's what he's evidently feeling in his car after almost half of this race.
And it can prematurely wear the inside edge of that tire, although tire wear has not been a concern this week.
But with the soft springs that they run in the front of these cars, the tire stays leaned in even on the straightaway. Sometimes it heats that inside edge up, and there's your trouble.
Matt Kenseth, Carl Edwards, Greg Biffle, Casey Mears, and Kurt Busch are your front 5. 92 complete. We close in on halfway in Charlotte.
Aerial images are brought to you by Goodyear's Silent Armor technology, featuring a layer made with Kevlar for rugged toughness and a comfortable ride. 12 different leaders, which is a Lowe's Busch Series race record. 14 lead changes. And Matt Kenseth on the pole, and your leader right now just a couple of laps away from halfway in this race. Jeff Hammond, how about a 3 Jack Roush Fords? Kenseth, Edwards, and Biffle leading the way.
Definitely running strong right now, but out of those 3, we got to believe that Greg Biffle's the one that's kind of like, he'd like to see a caution right now so he can get those left side tires off that number 16 car. Remember, he had problems early on, had to come down pit road, change just right side tires, and as things cycled through, he's gotten back up here to the top. But as far as Matt Kenseth, our pole sitter, he's looking real strong right now, but Carl Edwards is definitely putting some pressure on him.
Jimmie Johnson, of course, currently a lap down, as pointed out, lap 15, as we are halfway. Kyle Busch going for his 3rd straight spring race victory here at Lowe's, and Kyle Busch currently running 10th. Let's rejoin Darrell, Larry, and Mike.
Time for our CarQuest trivia. Now, you know there's only 3 possible answers to any trivia question in the Busch Series. Then this became the Busch Series in 1982. Who was the first NASCAR Busch Series race winner at Lowe's Motor Speedway?
Got to be Harry Gant or Mark Martin.
It's only, I mean, yeah.
Harry Gant, I guess.
I'll go with Mark Martin.
Could be Dillon.
Harry Gant.
As Bullwinkle would say, time to get a new question. We keep coming up with the same answer. I got to get a new question.
Oh, I thought he said.
All right, I got one for you. This is a little tougher. What driver had top 10 finishes in both Busch Series races here last year? Who?
Would it be the man leading the race?
And
Not
no,
Matt Kenseth.
no, sorry. No, it would.
Could it be the 5 car?
No, it would be Ashton Lewis Jr.
My.
25.
Yeah.
Right now, Ashton is at 33rd, 2 laps down.
He got a little work to do tonight.
Yes, he does. Now, you know, I want to follow up on what Jeff Hammond was talking about, Greg Biffle. 102 laps into this race. He's got well over 100 laps on his left side tires, and he is only about 12 to 14 laps away from having to make another green flag pit stop. He was on pit road at lap 49. If you add 65 laps to that, lap 114, 12 laps from now.
Now, Jimmie Johnson just ahead is 1 lap down in 15.
The good news for Greg is the fact if he doesn't get burned by a caution flag, in fact, he's actually on pit road now at this 16 car, but everybody's going to have to make 2 more pit stops. So he's going to give up that 3rd position, and I'm sure, Steve, he'll get 4 tires this time.
Yeah, Larry Mack just heard the crew chief call for 4 tires. You see them on the right side. Now, Greg said that his car had gotten tight, and as you said, he pitted on lap 52. They thought they had a flat right front tire, but they still have not diagnosed the problem. 4 tires, air pressure for Biffle.
But the problem, some of our leaders can go another 30 laps from now, so they're really banking on another long green run here.
And a caution flag would really slice and dice this field. There's only 12 cars on the lead lap, and Kenseth's trying to make that 11 if he can get past Regan Smith.
Tell you what, when you got somebody, like I said earlier, when you got a 39 start off really fast, and 17 has been incredibly fast and consistent, you just run through the field like they're doing, put a lot of people a lap down.
Now, Carl Edwards half a second behind his teammate Kenseth. You got to wonder, is he riding? Or is he trying to get up there and lead this race?
Well, as I mentioned, he knows that we're going to have 2 more pit stops in this race. Just keep that leader at bay where I can see him, and then we'll go at it at the end of this race.
Well, Dick Carl Edwards was 1.2 seconds behind our leader 15 laps to go, and now he's right there.
Yeah, he is, Mike, but the car seems to be changing a lot tonight. On lap 88, just after the pit stop, he said the car was free in, grade off. And then on lap 99, he radioed to his crew and told them that the car was tight in the center and tight coming off as well. So his car is changing. Steve.
And Dick Kyle Busch off pit road, hearing a report that he had a flat right front tire. That's why he had to come to pit road when he did.
Had one earlier for debris from one of the crashes, and now he's back in.
A good pit stop for those guys, but he's in the same boat as Greg Biffle. He needs this thing to go another 30 to 35 laps without a caution. Then things will somewhat be even back out.
Let's check in on the leading Dodge in this race. That would be Casey Mears. He is in third in the Haviland car, 6.7 seconds behind the leaders. Matt?
Mike, before the last stop, the car was chattering the front tires. It was so tight. He says now the car, balance-wise, has gone back to the tight side big time again. He's having to back up his entry. Brad Parrott on the radio coaching him, but also deciding what changes to make in that 42 car on their next stop. And Kevin Harvick's team up on the wall, awaiting the arrival of the points leader.
But Matt, I'm going to tell you what, you mentioned Brad Parrott. Ever since he came to work with Casey Mears, this will be his third race. Now, Casey's running a limited schedule in the Busch Series. This is his 5th start, but his last 2 finishes was 3rd at Texas, 8th at Phoenix. And remember, Brad Parrott is the one that led Carl Edwards to about 5 wins last year. So this combination really working. There's Brad Parrott right there, son of Buddy Parrott that you worked with for a number of years.
Still gonna be down
One thing,
there.
nobody works any harder.
Still down there.
Yeah, even though like last weekend the Busch cars were off, Brad Parrott was out here working every day with Donnie Wingo in Casey's Nextel Cup car.
Martin Truex Jr. He's about to go a lap down, and he is the 10th place car in this race. So Matt Kenseth is taking no prisoners. Leading non-Cup driver in the race now is Johnny Sauter at 8th place.
Yeah, he's the only non-Nextel Cup regular that's still on the lead lap, but we are right now at 100 laps of green flag racing since that caution for Tony Stewart back on lap 11.
And again, to update you, both Jamie McMurray and Tony Stewart, after crashes, they are okay, but have been taken to a local hospital to be checked over and x-rayed just as a precaution.
There's Johnny Sauter. Oh, we got trouble. Mike Wallace in the 1 car. This is not the caution that Greg Biffle or Kyle Busch was looking for at all.
It blew a damn right rear tire.
Right rear. When
Or
we
it broke a track bar, one of the two.
Track bar broken.
Track bar is broke on that car. That's it, hanging down right there.
Track bar broke coming down the back straightaway.
I guarantee you, Larry, there's something going on with those rear track bar mounts, because they've got they've got a rule where they can only be so low, but guys have figured out how to get them below that.
He's very lucky he didn't hit the wall any harder.
third caution of the night, it comes out at lap 112 with 88 to go. Mike Wallace led earlier during the exchange of green flag stops.
See him coming down the backstretch here, right there.
Man, look at that thing. That's similar, I think, to what happened to Tony Stewart.
I mean, he just barely skimmed the wall with the right rear. And look how close he's going to come to missing the end of that wall there at the end of the inside of the backstretch. Lucky it didn't go up the racetrack right there, too.
Man, that's hard to control, something that's sliding out of control.
Roof flaps come up. They do their job.
Driver didn't do a bad job either.
There you see the track bar dragging the ground. And it's broke on the left side where it actually hooks onto the trailing arm.
Yeah, and there's how low it is. There's the mount on the right side. That's how low those things are. Those are supports for it. And I just think they've gotten something going on here. First time, it's kind of a coincidence. Second time, something's going on there.
Well, I'd like to say pit road will be busy, Matt, but there's only 10 cars on the lead lap, but they're all coming.
Casey Mears started the night 6th, currently in the 3rd position. Brad Parrott told his guys, just nice, smooth, let's have a good, solid stop. Now they're going to make an air pressure adjustment to try to work a little bit of freeness in the center of the corner, Steve.
Going around, Matt Kurt Busch, 39 in. The rear tire changer stumbles coming around the back. They've made a track bar adjustment and a round of wedge in the left rear. Kurt Busch finally away.
Well, Matt Kenseth came into this stop leading the event. He says that when he first starts out, after a pit stop, the car is a little bit loose, and then it goes to neutral, and then it goes to tight. So they have a negotiated settlement between the driver and the crew chief, Jimmy Fennig, as to what to do about it, a minor chassis adjustment and air pressure adjustments.
Denny Hamlin a little slow coming out. Looking at the track bar on Mike Wallace's car, it looked like the Heim joint on the end of the bar looked to be intact. And if so, it may have been a failure of the bolt or of the track bar mount on the rear end.
I'm just looking at the track bar mounts on all these cars that I can see under the back of them. Even the 8 car going out has an unusual looking track bar mount.
Tire changer, rear tire changer for Kurt Busch slips down on the hose. Doesn't look like it's going to cost him a lot of time right there.
Nice recovery.
A little bit behind, but not bad.
Matt Kenseth still your leader in Charlotte.
Matt Kenseth, your leader, with 85 laps to go here at Lowe's Motor Speedway. Never mind rock the Casbar. Fix the track bar. That brought out another caution after 96 laps of green flag racing. That's where we are now under caution, our third of the night. Jamie McMurray, Tony Stewart, okay. They've both been taken to the hospital for further observation. We'll update that a little bit later on. Let's rejoin Daryl, Larry, and Mike.
Set for this restart with now 12 cars on the lead lap. Regan Smith got the free pass. Greg Biffle tail end of the lead lap as we restart.
Apparently tires wear is as good as we thought it was going to be. No issues tire wear wise.
A little nervous about this restart. I'd like to see about 8 or 10 laps. I'm so nervous. What do you think?
Might as well.
Let's crank it up.
Greg Biffle is doing just what he needs to do, staying well out in front of race leader Matt Kenseth to try to cycle around to get back on the lead lap. Trouble with track bars. Here's Jeff Hammond.
Mike, what I have in my hand, this is a track bar out of the car. This is where it's located in the car. This is what centers the rear end housing underneath our race car. If you break this, the rear end housing is going to move around, just like what happened on Mike Wallace's car. As you can see, the track bar is normally connected to the truck arm by a 3/4 bolt. The way his car looked, possibility this bolt either broke or came loose.
Turn 4, Jeff.
And
Excuse me.
down.
Car around. Mark McFarland slides through the infield. Nobody else makes contact, and caution is out.
And mission accomplished for Greg Biffle. He's back on the lead lap.
Sorry, let's rejoin Jeff. Sorry, Jeff.
As we were saying, Mike, the 3/4 bolt that attaches this sway bar, track bar to the car could have broken on Mike's car or even Tony Stewart's car. This is a culprit, we believe, in 2 of the accidents we've had here tonight at Lowe's Motor Speedway.
Thanks, Jeff. A non-contact incident for Mark McFarland. And here's Mike Wallace once again.
But right there in turn 4, which has been calamity corner for the Busch cars especially, got a little damage there to the right rear of the Navy car.
Been watching him and a couple of other guys have been running the high line. I mean, really high line. And I'm not sure if he got up too high. Let's see what happens here. Getting off turn 4, it's like we've seen so many times. Snaps around with him.
A lot of cars having to drive by him.
Seen back there how high he is, and he's been running up against that wall quite a bit here lately.
So caution out for the 4th time tonight. And Tony Stewart after a checkup at a local hospital, has been released. He is okay. He will race tomorrow night in the Coke 600.
And I don't think we'll see a lot of cars coming to pit road. This still does not put us where we can make it to the end if they pit right here.
Some of our storylines, Kyle Busch trying to three-peat. Doesn't look like that may happen here, as Kyle's not having a fantastic night here. And Jimmie Johnson trying to be the first car one lap down, get back on the lead lap. It's either him or Todd Cleaver. Caution's coming out. Now you got to go slideways.
Got too loose, had to get out of the throttle, and Todd Cleaver gets in front of him. Caution comes out, Cleaver gets a free pass.
Not a very good car right now, but a very good driver.
And we continue to see Denny Hamlin in the 20 car. I talked about cars on the lead lap. He continues to come to pit road during this caution. It's about 76 laps to go. He could be getting right there in that window, trying to make it to the end without pitting.
Stacy Compton, Bernie Lamar, and Mark McFarland with the same idea.
I think I can. I think I can. I think I can.
Matt Kenseth's first start here in NASCAR was right here in May '96 in a car owned by Bobby Daughter. Started 37th, finished 31st, got his first Cup win here in his rookie season, May of 2000, and he's well on his way here to dominating this one. We listened in to Matt and his team.
You don't think anybody's going to make it to the end from here, do you, Jimmy?
No, you're looking at 60. We can only go like 62 laps. There's 78 to go. There might be a couple, I don't know, but I doubt it.
All right, I was just curious.
I have seen those Joe Gibbs cars get pretty good fuel mileage. And every caution lap we run, remember it's like a 1-to-2 ratio. I would not be surprised to see that Denny Hamlin in that 20 car topping off twice, that's possibly what's on their mind.
And in Matt Kenseth's typical driver, he realizes that there are some people right on the fringe of being able to make that.
And his teammate J.J. Yaley is up in 6th place, doesn't want to sacrifice track position to pit. Let's get an update on pit stops under this caution, starting with Dick.
Well, Larry's right about the 20 car Hamlin. They're trying to gas that car up to go the long run. But you know what? You got to love Carl Edwards. Just a little while ago, he told his crew under the caution flag, I got a song in my head. I got a song in my head. Crew Chief Pierre Cattell said, remember testing when you had a song in your head and you started singing? Everything went backwards. No singing in the race car. We have not heard any music from car number 60. Steve.
Dick, Johnny Sauter told crew chief Harold Holley, he said, I'm hitting the left front spring so hard, it's making this car too loose to drive. Harold Holley said, yeah, but you're really hauling the mail like that. I don't want to tighten you up. I will a little bit, but I warned you. The last thing Harold Holley said was, we have one adjustment for you. We're going to maybe make a track bar adjustment. We're thinking about no tires. Matt?
If you've ever had a rattle in your car and you tried to diagnose it and find it and you never could, and then all of a sudden it just went away, that's sort of the issue that Jimmie Johnson has. All of a sudden, his radio started working again. Chad said, well, that's good. I took a big swing at it on the first stop with huge track bar and wedge to try to free you up. They did it again on the last stop. He's still one lap down, running 14th.
Yeah, you know when it started working? When he got sideways down there.
Yes.
He probably yelled loud enough to make it work.
Thanks, Matt. Dick, got a question for you on Carl Edwards. The aspiring musicologists up here want to know, what was the song in his head?
The song was 99 Balloons, and in order to keep our rating this evening, I am not going to sing it for you.
99 Luftballons. My gosh.
It's funny how that happens. People ask me all the time not to sing. I don't understand it.
I don't either. Let's go green with 126 laps complete. 74 to go.
Now the two cars on the inside, Kyle Busch in the 5, Kevin Harvick in the 21, they are actually 2 laps down right here. Need to make note, Greg Biffle in the 16 car, Matt Kenseth's teammate topped off with 1 to go there too, with basically 75 laps to go.
Well, he's the last car on the lead lap.
Yeah,
why not?
Back in 12th place. Not so bad when that's all the cars there is on the lead lap.
Right. 3 wide. Oh, this gets so busy on restarts here.
Busy, I call it ugly.
Yeah, that was Martin Truex Jr., the 8 car, all the way to the top of the racetrack through 3 and 4.
Last restart, it was his DEI teammate, Paul Menard.
I'm just really, I'm so pleased that it seems to be a really high groove out there that you can get up there and really go. And when guys are fighting to get to the bottom, some guys are jumping to the outside and passing an awful lot of race cars.
Always a concern with fresh pavement when we have a second, third groove. Looks like we've got it.
I tell you, they look good up high.
Turn 4, car around. McFarland again. In the wall this time. Caution is out.
Almost the same place as a while ago. I think this is going to be good news for Jimmie Johnson in the 48. I think he'll get the free pass. See a lot of damage on Robbie Gordon in the 7 car here as well.
And Gordon takes his car to the garage.
Well, running this is his first Busch Series race this year. You know, there's no points racing there, just here to win and here to win only. Rough night for this Navy car, though.
You know, there were 2 cars involved here.
See, what
Look
happened
at the
to
7
What happened to
first.
the 7 here? Man, he's just up there all by himself.
Got loose, walked up the racetrack.
Well, I will be.
And now McFarland is behind him, I believe.
Are these related? Yeah. Man, that's odd. Both cars did the same thing in the same spot.
Darrell, do you think Mark McFarland saw Robbie Gordon get sideways and maybe he did something to get his car sideways?
It almost looked like they both did the same thing at the same spot and they were not even related, like there was something on the track.
Sit here a minute, make sure we don't cut the starter down. Set it down so I can look at it. All right, that's good enough to get to the garage.
Darrell, when Gordon starts to go around, what happens if McFarland either gets off the gas abruptly or hits the brake?
Oh, well, if he has enough rear brake in it, lock the rear tires up, that would spin him out. But I'm not sure. That was really an odd look there with both cars almost doing the same thing in the same place.
Now, guys, pit road is open, and you look at Denny Hamlin, Greg Biffle, they're back there 11th and 12th. We only have 13 cars on the lead lap. We may see a lot of these guys top off here with 70 to go to see if they can make it to the end without pitting.
I look for everybody from about 6th on back.
Here comes Kurt Busch. Pretty much everyone, it looked like, except possibly Matt Kenseth and Carl Edwards.
And
Casey Mears stays out as well.
They have done to those 3 what they did to Kevin Harvick at Richmond. If the leader stays out, everybody comes in.
Yeah, that's, I'm not sure. I'm sure they'd like to go down there and pit. What about it, Matt?
Air pressure adjustment in that right front for the 48 of Jimmie Johnson. Car was good on that run. To Steve.
2 tires only, 2 tires, right sides for Kurt Busch. He told crew chief Matt Kemmel, I like the way you think. Let's go for it, Dick.
Well, Denny Hamlin is going to take on left side tires. Or is it just that they're going at the battery? He has been having a problem with the ignition. They're going at the battery in the left rear corner of this car. It picked up a skip, and that's exactly what they're doing. They're trying to fix an electrical problem in Denny Hamlin's car.
And I would say under caution here at a 1.5 mile racetrack, they should be able to change that battery. There's a little door there they can take off. It has like a Marine quick disconnect. They should be able, there you see the quick disconnect right there. The cars are just going into turn 3. They've already got the battery in. All they got to do is hit that connector, but they don't even have to get that door back on unless it's what holds the battery in. They should be able to pull this off if
I believe they got it.
glitches.
I believe they got it. Stick that tire back on it and get out of there.
And the good thing, he's right near the exit of pit road. He does not have to go very far to beat these guys as they just are coming off turn 4.
Something's wrong here. This is taking a little bit longer than it should have.
Hamlin is 3rd in points coming into this race. This will not help.
They were in good shape till they put the other battery in. Looked like they just couldn't get it disconnected back up. And it looks like
smoke coming from.
Sparks and fire coming from under the hood. There's some
they
big
got
electrical
Hey, look, they got a fire under there, Mike.
Yeah. Fire extinguisher, fire extinguisher.
That is not a battery problem. That is the whole electrical system. And
yeah, it looks like every wire in that car has burned
Use that much you have to. Just be ready.
Third place point man Hamlin. Going to be very disappointed tonight.
Somebody wired this battery wrong.
What they've done,
backup battery.
Yes, you know, that quick disconnect has 2 wires that goes to the positive and the negative. Sounds like to me they have swapped it when they put that quick disconnect on there.
And it shorted out all the wires in the car, wiring harness.
What a shame.
Now not only do they have a battery problem, they can't. They
Another battery. Make sure it's dead. Make sure that's a problem.
Nelson Crozier, who helps out on our telecasts, also makes a lot of wiring systems for these cars, and he had it right off the bat, reverse polarity. That is not one of his systems, by the way, but rule 1, don't beat yourself.
Yeah, well, nobody's going to claim that system, so I don't know how it got in there.
They will restart without Denny Hamlin at lap 132 with 68 to go. Matt Kenseth, whose average finish this year is 4th in 8 races.
It's a sick feeling whether you're a driver, crew chief, or crew member. Restart the race, you're still sitting on pit road. Of our 13 cars, about half of them pitted that time to top off for fuel.
Boy, not a very good restart for the 17 car here. I'm not sure.
Dick Berggren.
It sounds like engine problem on car number 17.
Yeah,
the crew has the disappointed look on their face.
Whoa,
it's like it lost a cylinder. It wouldn't go.
And they're after Kenseth 3 wide. And Casey Mears pops out first. Now Jamie McMurray has been treated and released to the local hospital. Like Tony Stewart, he is okay and headed back to the racetrack. Jay Sauter has taken his car to the garage.
Boy, what's out here, guys?
They just keep trying to go 3 wide through turn 4.
That was huge.
And Denny Hamlin.
Come on up there. Come on.
The 17 is causing a big roadblock
there.
Yeah. And he's getting them 2 and 3 and 4 wide behind him.
Yeah, he can't get out of the way fast enough.
And Denny Hamlin is back in the race, but is 3 laps down. Kenseth will be coming to the pits.
Now, Matt Kenseth's teammate, Carl Edwards, in the midst of all this, the 60 car, he's taking the lead. Kevin Harvick in the 21. Remember, he was 2 laps down. He's not very good right now, but he needs a caution, then he would just be 1 lap down.
And that would be quite a comeback.
That's how you win championships, with quite a comeback.
So for Carl Edwards, 99 Luftballons, the German artist Nina, a one-hit wonder. And caution is out. Back straight away.
Got the 17 blowing up back there.
That will give Kevin Harvick one of those laps back.
Somebody make sure they got a fire extinguisher just in case it's exploded pretty good. I'm going to come right toward our pit here.
.63 laps to go under caution. And moments ago, Matt Kenseth, who had led 52 consecutive laps, engine failure, or as you like to say, Jeff Hammond.
It blowed up.
Okay, it was that simple. And we had a couple of guys come in and top off.
Right now we're looking at a lot of strategy kind of being played out. Casey Mears is leading the race, but for a lot of them, they think that maybe fuel may become an issue, so now they've already come down on pit road and topped off.
Let's recap. If you joined us just a little bit late, Jamie McMurray, who was the leader on lap 2, a tire problem, hits the wall, the concrete, then the safer barrier. He said he was okay, taken to the hospital for observation, later released. Tony Stewart, believed to be a track bar problem, running 6th at the time, exiting turn 4. And the car is just trashed. Shoulder bothered him, taken to the hospital, x-rays negative, later released. You'll see him tomorrow evening on Fox. Another track bar, Mike Wallace, going about 170 miles per hour.
Coming down the back straightaway, track bar broke. Mike did a great job of keeping this car out of the wall. They've effected repairs. He's now back to the racetrack.
Mark McFarland had a couple of spin-outs. Matt Kenseth moments ago after leading much of this race. A total of 83 laps with some engine problems. So that leaves Casey Mears in the lead with 62 laps to go under our 6th caution of the race. And here is our race summary. You see we've had a number of lead changes. That's a Busch Series record here for Lowe's with 12 different leaders and 15 lead changes.
It's been a pretty exciting night. But hey, why can't you say blowed up?
That's not engine failure.
Come on.
I've been hanging around you too much. Let's check in. Who's with Matt? Steve? Let's check in with Steve Burns.
Yeah, thank you, Chris. Matt, you started from the pole, had a great race car. How disappointing to be back here in the garage.
It's disappointing, but it'd be more disappointing to be running 20th and blow up. So, I mean, the good news is we ran good and been having a lot of fun with Jimmy Fenning. He's done a great job on these cars and does great adjustments. And we, I thought we had the car, we just couldn't get to the end. So, Doug Yates and George Gable do a great job on the engine program, and can't complain about that. It's just something that happens in racing. They break once in a while.
Any indication that it was going south on you?
Yeah, we were. It actually blew up under yellow. I was in the middle of 3 and 4 getting ready to come to the restart, and I heard a funny sound, like a plug wire came off or it dropped a valve or something. So I'm sure it dropped a valve, and I probably ran it a little too long.
Better luck tomorrow.
Thanks.
That's pretty good information right there, Larry. Folks at home, if you want to know what's going on, there you are. Next pit stop at lap 180. They pitted last on 110. I like that 4.5 miles to the gallon. That's pretty. That's a pretty good gas mileage for one of these units.
Yeah, yep. It shows their last pit time.
I got a question. There's just something I don't understand about this race here tonight. What's going on with that section? Did the bus driver's GPS not work? Did they go? Are they at Concord Motorsports Park waiting for this race to start? What happened?
I don't know. It's one section, and there is not a soul sitting in it. That's been that way all night.
Turn 4. Those are good seats.
They may be over there on Moorhead. You and I had a lot of trouble getting that traffic over there.
No, 30 minutes to race time. There was no traffic.
I got it.
Yeah.
I know what it is.
It's
the Chris Myers fan club section.
Yeah.
Oh. That's good. It's only a flesh wound, Chris.
And Chris, to use your line, I'll be appearing at the Chuckle Hut in Mooresville all week next week.
No, he cares. He cares because he doesn't care.
Funny stuff.
Come on, say something.
You guys haven't been this funny in since you last won a race, Darrell. It's been that long.
That was
couple of decades.
That was last night.
At Cars.
That was last night, my friend.
You got the wrong guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Larry shot you. I just wounded you.
Bergie.
The crowd was with Darrell when he won that race last night, too, Mike. I was in the middle of the grandstand, and the kids were all cheering him on. Jeff Burton, J.J. Yaley, cars number 29 and 18, currently running in 3rd and 4th position. Both pitted on lap 130. I have checked with both crew chiefs, and both say they intend to go all the way to the end without another pit stop. That's 70 laps, a long way to go on fuel. Carl Edwards, according to Pierre Coutel, could not have made it. He has now pitted, taken on fuel and tires, and he, too, can make it, and there is no concern about him not getting to the end on the fuel he has.
Thanks, Dick. Jerry Gabbins came upstairs from the press box, and we have the answer. There is not a group of lost race fans out there somewhere, but what's happening here is that section separates the folks who are allowed alcoholic beverages from the folks in the family section over in the turn 4 area. So thank you, Jerry, and that's very nice to have the great divide there.
I still like the Chris Myers fan club line better.
I think that's a pretty nice idea, though. It's kind of like going in a restaurant where it's no smoking, but you're sitting right by the people that are smoking.
Right. Do you know, when they used to allow smoking on airplanes in Europe, the planes that flew within Europe, left of the aisle would be non, and right of the aisle would be permitted. Think any?
Who made up that rule?
I don't know.
I think I know who, but I'm going to keep my hard card.
Kyle Busch, driver of the number 5 car, has been a fan of CarQuest for years. Maybe it's because we sell dependable, top-quality parts. Or it's the people that always go that extra mile to get him where he's going and get him there safely. So whether you're heading for the finish line or just to the corner store, you can trust CarQuest, the official auto parts supplier for Hendrick Motorsports. CarQuest Auto Parts, the professional choice. This is the final vault for Stefan Beletsky.
Father and coach Usten Beletsky looking on. Whoa! Oh.
I've never seen a springboard break like that.
There will be a deduction on the landing.
I'd hate to be responsible for that.
Not the official tools of gymnastics. The official tools of NASCAR. Craftsman at Sears.
Counting Kenny Wallace, who got the free pass, there are now 13 cars on the lead lap as we finish cleanup on the 6th caution flag of the night. When they come to the green, this time we'll have 58 laps to race.
And you remember Casey Mears, the last time he actually came in, I'm going to check this real quick on
Mears. He is the leader as we restart, and right behind him, the 8 of Martin Truex took fuel only, no tire.
Yeah, well, you know, we said earlier that tire wear is as good as everybody anticipated was going to be, and there's a good proof of it right there.
Dave Blaney on the inside, unable to get a lap back from the leader in the 32. And Mears takes off.
Boy, he does. He's like a shot out of a cannon.
If our records are correct, and I think they are, Casey Mears is really the only car back there that has not topped off under these cautions. So we get the indication he's still, Matt Yoakum, I think he has to make one more stop.
He does indeed, Larry Mack, looking around lap 170 to 180. Now Brad Parrott left it up to Casey, and Casey was one of those cars that you saw veer back onto the racetrack and waved off, hitting pit road to top off of fuel, because that was the game plan if he indeed hit pit road. But now he's got that fresh, clean air. Now he's just hoping for a caution in about another 35 laps.
Yaley and Busch battling for 4th place.
Well, you know, Larry, with...
Well, we got trouble in
here we
turn
go.
4. This car just came around. Clint Boyer in a 2 car. Nowhere for John Wood in a 47 to go. Clint Boyer coming in here second to points.
A couple more cars back there spun out, too, down on the apron.
We've had more squealing tires tonight than a whole summer of Saturday nights at the Dairy Queen.
The thing about it is that on the restarts, they just don't have any heat in them, and that seems to be a real issue with these tires.
And we went the first 111 laps with 2 cautions, and in the last 33 laps, we have had 5.
This car, Clint Boyer, came in here as the runner-up in the Busch Series standings. He's headed home.
I am a master of the obvious, but cautions do breed caution.
Absolutely.
Watch John Wood in the 47 right here, the Armor All car.
He wouldn't happen to get a little nerf, would he? Oh, my goodness. He got jacked up.
But he checked up because
but did you see that? Or it was a 5 car that got through there. Kyle Busch. Wow, he was lucky.
Now, yeah, the 47 checked up because of the 2. There's no question.
You want to see somebody that's lucky. 2 goes around.
Biffle gets by. Jimmy Johnson gets by. Kyle Busch gets by.
And Carl Edwards just all but stopped in the 60 car up there on the high side.
Good thing.
Yep. That's a hard lick right there.
There's another one.
That's a hard lick.
That is a hard lick.
Well, let's ride along with Clint Boyer.
This is going to be ugly. You just hear it gets in the throttle. Around she goes.
Hold your brake. Hold your brake.
Mike, you talked about Clint Boyer. Runner-up in points coming in here. John Wood is on the brink of getting into the top 10, sitting 12th in the points.
Still there. Still there. Up against the wall here in front of you.
Man, like a bomb goes off.
John Wood was slowing down to miss it, and Paul Menard got into the back of him. And John Wood became...
Right here in the pit. Oh, right here in the pit. You got one coming on your inside. Guys, get the bear bond and fenders and all that shit ready.
And John, we apologize for the crew chief's language, though we understand his frustration, as John Wood slowed down to miss the crash and ended up becoming a big part of it.
Busch nowhere to go. Now, pit road is open. There you see the damage on the front of Paul Menard, the 11 car. Casey Mears, Brad Parrott, 42 car, our leader. They still have elected to stay out. We know they could make it from here with 54 laps to go.
Well, Larry, I talk about it all the time, but the way these noses are made on these cars nowadays, and the back men up jacked up in the air, that nose right there just fits right up under the back bumper of the car in front of it and jacks it up off the ground, and the driver in the front loses control. If you look at Menard's car, the damage is on top of the hood, not on the bumper.
And I want to go back to this 42 car. They pitted on lap 112. That's 88 laps to go. I know we've had a lot of cautions, but Darrell, if you know you've got a pit and you're well in that window and you know everybody behind you can make it to the end, I kind of question why they're continuing to stay out there.
I think he's giving you the signal right there. Larry, you might just be way off base here.
You're right, since he pitted, there have been 6 cautions for a total of 20 laps, not including however many caution laps we get right here.
And just remember, they don't big picture race with this 42 car. They're racing for a win.
I think he's going to try to make it myself based on that expression I saw on Brad's face.
And guess who gets the free pass? One Jimmie Johnson. Like a jewel in the night sky, Lowe's Motor Speedway from the Goodyear blimp. Aerial images brought to you by Goodyear's Silent Armor technology, featuring a layer made with Kevlar for rugged toughness and comfortable ride. Steve Burns.
Mike, back in the garage with John Wood. A lot of damage to the 47 car. John, what happened? Number one. Number two, can they get this car back on the racetrack? It looks like they're trying.
Yeah, we're going to try. I don't know how Clint got loose or wrecked or whatever, but it was just a chain reaction deal from then on. I guess Paul Menard got into the back of me somehow, and then everybody goes wrecking. It's a shame for the Armor All folks, because every time they have stickers on the car, I wreck for them. But and I apologize for the crew chief's bad language. I heard about that too. But you know, other than that, it's just a night gone bad with a pretty decent car.
Thank you, John.
Now there's Jimmie Johnson right outside. John Wood. Jimmie gets through. John does not.
That
sounds like it hurts.
Man, oh, that makes me draw up.
The Viking on the hood did too. Now, Jimmie did get the free pass, but that was 2 cautions ago. The trouble with these sticky notes are they're a little too sticky. Dave Blaney is the free pass driver on this caution flag. 51 laps to go in the CarQuest Auto Parts 300. Field is in turn 2, lower right of your screen as we get set for this double file restart. First, Matt Yoakum.
Clint Bowyer has walked out of the infield care center. Clint, what happened?
I just I saw Martin getting up there on the outside, and he was making it work, and tried to, and it was just too free to run up there. Just spun out and lost it. But you know, I hate it for the AC Delco guys. They had a good race car, and was going to have a good finish here. Something about Charlotte, I never get out of here with a good car.
Bowyer was second in points coming in. All of the top 5 except Carl Edwards have had some kind of difficulty tonight. Casey Mears, is he running on borrowed time to finish this race, Larry?
Well, he pitted with 88 laps to go, and since he pitted, we've had about 24 to 25 laps of caution. I think the bed's made it. I think Brad Parrott's going for it here. You know what? Why not? It's not about points racing for this group.
Green flag with 48 laps to go.
And there's one thing we know about Brad. He loves to win, and he likes to make it exciting.
And he's not afraid to roll the dice.
And he will roll the dice. I just hope he doesn't try to do a somersault or anything like that.
Right now, that 42 car's got his hands full of Martin Truex Jr. in the 8 car, and we're real sure no one behind Casey Mears has to pit, and they've got enough fuel to go to the end.
Let's check with Matt on the leader.
And Larry Mack's mathematics is exactly correct. Now, Brad Parr's been working the numbers, knowing how many caution laps that he needed. He was telling Casey, long gears, save me as much fuel as you can.
Well, there's been 26 laps of caution since he pitted. So you take that 26 off the 88, and then you add about 13 laps back to it. So he's trying to run in the low to mid 70 range, which certainly is possible.
Assuming you get twice the gas mileage under yellow that you get under green.
And I would bet, since you're on this strategy, he's probably getting more because Brad has had him saving fuel under caution.
Well, you got 22 gallon of fuel. You go 4.5 miles a gallon. You do the math. Then there's going to be another caution, so he's going to be fine.
Jimmie Johnson had 2 wheels in the grass trying to get past Greg Biffle. 6th place here.
They've done it again. That 48 car couldn't do that earlier in this race. He'd have spun out down underneath somebody like that. There he is, gassing it and going on.
And here comes Kurt Busch to the head of that second pack.
Whoa, there's
Biffle.
Greg Biffle. He's around. Caution is out.
Another car around 30.
Regan Smith at 35.
Still coming on your inside. Another one spinning down in front of you.
Reed Sorensen in the 41 had to go down through the grass.
Another one of those chain reaction things.
Paul Menard.
20 car down pit road.
Now they're golden now.
Yeah, before this caution here, what he was trying to do is run about 74 to 75 laps. You can see him right there. Pack the stuff up, boys. We're not coming in.
Well, he wasn't coming in even before, but this, you know, it's kind of like
insurance.
Yeah.
Watch Biffle
gets loose.
Now here comes Menard into the picture to the grass.
And you see Regan Smith get turned back there by Cleaver.
Biffle did hit the outside wall, but I'm not sure. I don't think Regan Smith hit anything at all.
I don't think he did either. He just got booted from behind and spun around. 06 car Cleaver got in the back of him. These things just turn around off at the corner right there. We've seen it time and time and time again. Whoa, the Biff.
Pretty hard lick.
The Biff almost had it.
And Darrell, let me tell you what else this is doing for the 42 car. We know he's going to end up with more laps on his tires than anyone else. These cautions just continue to cool his tires down, which is good too.
Yeah, well, 50-some lap earlier run that they made. There you see Biffle going around, and the tire wear was excellent.
You know, Darrell, Biffle's car starts around just about the time that Carl Edwards cuts under him from directly behind.
Could have been, you know, just that air moving around behind the car that caused that to happen. Doesn't take much when they're coming off the corner there, especially the way we've seen them spin here. Let's see if we can see if Carl may have added to them.
It's our Aquavelva out of the blue moment. Here comes Carl. Edwards probably not a factor. Aquavelva, keep your face toned to pit. There's something about an Aquavelva. Some cars will pit, including that's David Green on the left. He is the free pass car on this caution. And here's Steve.
Martin Truex Jr. gives up the second position. Crew chief Tony Eury Sr. says, come on, let's go for it. Remember, they stopped on lap 130 and took no tires. This time, they're going to take 4 tires and make a chassis adjustment in the left rear.
And you can hear those tires squeal when they take off. I've never heard tires squeal the way these do here this weekend. They do it on a restart. We can hear it in the audio sometime on some of the cars on a restart.
It's a rally cap. Brad's got the whole stop pulled out.
They just waved the green, and Casey Mears takes off, playing the fuel mileage gamble. Riding with Kurt Busch. He's the third place car. Jeff Burton now second. J.J. Yaley's fourth. Jimmie Johnson up to fifth. Carl Edwards sixth.
And with that caution there, the math says that Casey Mears, Brad Parrish are trying to go 74 laps.
3 wide there went the 8 car, Martin Truex.
He's got those fresh skins on there, and he's taking advantage of them. He's up there on the high side, high, wide, and handsome.
Gets him 2 at 1 whack. Kenny Wallace in the 22, Todd Cleaver in the 06. Both those cars still on the lead lap.
As are Biffle and Smith, the 2 cars that spun, to bring out the caution.
I didn't see him do a whole lot to Biffle's car, just put tires on. I didn't see him do a lot of work on it. Daggone if it don't look like it's running pretty good.
Casey Mears, 67 NASCAR Busch Series starts. Finished second in California, September 2004. Never won yet. Third at Texas, his best finish this year in 4 starts.
Now, look at the 4th car in line there. Kevin Harvick in the 21 car. Remember, at one point, he was 2 laps down after having pit stop problems under green, had to come back to pit road. Now he's in 15th, the first car lap down. Should we get another caution, he'll be back on the lead lap. Remember, the worst finish he's had this year was 11th at Atlanta, the only finish out of the top 10.
Second place, Jeff Burton, the Holiday Inn Chevy, trying to hold off the Penske Leasing Dodge of Kurt Busch.
Well, we know that Dodge is fast. Kurt Busch, he led the early part of this race, had a little problem with the car. They may have just gotten that baby dialed in at the right time.
Tell you what, that little Holiday Inn car, though, just getting going here a few races ago. Remember, finished second at Richmond to Kevin Harvick. Boys got their act together up there with this 29 car.
Truex almost took a 3 wide on the inside coming off 4 at that time.
It's kind of boxed right now. He doesn't have anywhere to go until he clears these 2 cars in front of him. He'll probably do it here.
That's Sauter in the 00.
Which is still on the lead lap.
And Leffler in the 38.
Well, those fresh tires are sure paying off for him. Look at him go.
Kurt Busch in the 39 really turning the pressure up here on Jeff Burton in the 29. 35 laps to go.
Kurt's car seemed to be pretty good on the get-go, but it falls off at the end of a run here. We'll see what happens. Doesn't have far to go.
How much fuel do you think Casey Mears is conserving? We just ran lap 165. The fastest lap of the race he's run was 3 laps ago, lap 162.
His crew chief, Brad Parrott, tried to emulate a Carl Edwards backflip, and by doing a cartwheel after a big win. How'd it turn out? Not too good. Well, if Mears wins, guess what Brad told him he has in store for tonight?
You ever seen a nude man run across a racetrack at a race 10-4, but you'll have a new crew chief next race?
Happened last year at the F1 race. Saw it live.
All right, then I ain't going to do it because I wanted to be the first.
I believe I'd rather see the cartwheel.
Yeah,
but that nude guy he's talking about wasn't a crew member.
No. We'll have to get a little more creative than that. 5th place, Johnson, Carl Edwards. Edwards has been stalking Johnson since the restart.
And remember, it was only about 35 laps ago, Jimmy Johnson in the 48 got the free pass back on the lead lap. But right now, he's got his hands full of Carl Edwards in this 60 car.
I just got to tell you, Jimmy Johnson and that crowd have done an incredible job. Had radio problems. They couldn't talk to him. Didn't know what to do with the car. Got a lap down. Got it back. Here he is running the top 5.
A typical Jimmy Johnson night, it almost sounds like.
Earlier, Edwards said there was another song in his head. It was the theme from the movie Stroker Ace. We're going to all have to take up a collection and buy that boy a new 8-track.
I know one thing, though, with the problems that Clint Boyer had with the 2 car out of the race now, Carl Edwards could move into the 2nd place in points leaving here.
Here's the battle of the non-Cup regulars. Todd Cleaver in the Roush 06, Johnny Sauter in the Haas 00. And it's anybody's race for 8th place.
Casey Kane in the 9 car behind them is 1 lap down back in 17. And Cleaver and Sauter both pitted at the same time. The last time they were on pit road at lap 137.
There's no give up in this battle, is there?
Not at all.
Cleaver's done a nice job tonight. We had one little incident there. You can see the rear bumper kind of got beat in a little bit. One of those spins, he checked up, somebody bumped him.
30 laps to go.
These guys just are not going to give up, but they better look in the rearview mirror because there's a 16 coming called Greg Biffle. Remember, he's still on the lead lap even after hitting the wall.
Yeah, I don't think his car is anywhere near as good as it was, but I can't believe he can still drive it as hard as he hit the wall.
Well, like our producer Neil Goldberg said, he might have just knocked the handling back into that car.
I believe if he drove for me, I'd beef her up a little bit just in case he had a little extra contact here and there.
Biffle looking under, and he's going to get passed by Kane.
Tell you what, right behind this group, a few more Busch Series regulars. See Kenny Wallace in the 22. The battle there with Dave Blaney in the 32 car. This is a battle for the 12th position.
Carl Edwards is coming as he battles J.J. Yeley. This is for 4th place. Well, Yaley's had a good run tonight.
He really has. But the problem, these guys are battling back there. Casey Mears, our leader in the 42 car, he's out there in that clean air, and he's beating these guys 2 to 3/10 a lap. 28 laps to go for Casey Mears, the 42 car.
He's just got his car right at the right time, Larry. He's just he's got a fast car, and he's just driving off and leaving these guys.
Chip Ganassi Racing, located literally blocks away from Lowe's Motor Speedway, their new headquarters, and trying to put a NASCAR trophy on that shelf.
Carl Edwards is going to get another position from Kurt Busch in the 39 car, just drives away from Kurt, so he takes over the 3rd position. Kurt's going to lose another position to J.J. Yeley in the 18 car.
26 laps to go. Mears, Burton, Edwards, Yeley, and Busch.
I like that 18 car right now. That sucker's getting up and getting gone.
Oh, I can't believe it. Stroker Ace makes his move. Carl Edwards gets past Jeff Burton.
Stroker Ace was born to race. He had a mean.
Randy LaJoy, former series champ, takes the Speed Zone energy drink. Dodge it's a Fusion. Hard to tell what that right side is. It hit the wall so hard.
Looks like a right front tire failure.
I think Brad Parrott, Casey Mears, they've been liking a lot of these cautions that have been coming. I'm not sure, Matt Yoakum, they like that one because cousin Carl Edwards was a-coming.
Well, the biggest thing, Larry Mack, is that his spotter told him, be careful of the debris out there. He says, yes, I think I ran over some brake rotor.
I think he did too, Matt. I saw him go down here, and he was right behind Randy LaJoy. Right behind the Randy LaJoy's car, and I saw a lot of parts flying out as he went by. Casey Mears in the 42. I think this car loses a tire right there.
Oh,
boy,
yeah,
you just see that. Huge.
And Casey was right behind
Casey was right behind him, and there were a lot of parts flying out from under that thing. Man, that's
about like Jamie McMurray hit it earlier.
We have seen some heavy hits tonight. Watch the parts fly off now. And here comes the leader. And of course, they're right out in the racetrack.
There it is. There's the rotor right there.
Does he?
Here comes Casey.
I think he missed it.
Looked like it kept going to the outside, and he went to the inside.
Looking hard to see if they're okay.
We got a few of our leaders on pit road. Looks like Jeff Burton, Kenny Wallace, and Greg Biffle all elected to make pit stops, as well as Dave Blaney. So 4 of our lead lap cars.
And the free pass car will be Kevin Harvick, our point leader.
Hello. Harvick is happy again. The old rookie.
He'll get him some 4 fresh cold tires. He'll be good to go.
4 Mr. Feelgoods, and Mr. Happy is off and running.
From 2 laps down, back to the lead lap 107 laps later.
Come around, get caught up, then we pit.
Randy LaJoy has made it back to the garage.
What a beautiful sound. Come around, get caught up, and then we fit.
No visible damage on Casey Mears' car.
I don't think, I knew there was debris as he was coming through there, but I believe he was able to miss most of it.
Dick Berggren?
Well, Jeff Burton came on the radio and told the crew, we did not come here to run 5th. We came here to win. Let's pit this thing, put 4 fresh tires on it, and see what we can do.
Well, we watched Martin Truex Jr. slice up through there. He made his way up to the 7th position in that 8 car after pitting last time. Question is, with 15 cars on the lead lap and about probably 18 or 19 laps to go, will that be enough time?
If you're coming to Dover next weekend, Saturday after the Busch Series race, come walk with us. The NASCAR Foundation is having the Fun Walk on track for charity. You can walk with Honorary Chairman Jeff Hammond, Elliott Sadler, Casey Kane, Greg Biffle, and many other drivers and other folks from the world of NASCAR. The NASCAR Foundation helps raise funds for worthy causes and charitable efforts started by the drivers and other folks in NASCAR racing, like Ricky Craven's snowmobile ride, Zippy's Crusade for Kids, the Women's Auxiliary of Motorsports, the Victory Junction Gang Camp, and there's a whole list of those organizations supported by the NASCAR Foundation at NASCAR.com/foundation. Come join us next Saturday.
Kevin Harvick joined his teammate Jeff Burton by making a 4-tire stop. So he has those 4 tires, and as I said, about 17 or 18 laps to go probably when we get the green flag.
Well, Matt, are they getting a little nervous, or do they like all these cautions down in Casey Mears' pit?
I think, Mike, they love all these cautions. In fact, when I was listening in on conversation between Brad and Casey, it reminded me of a lot of conversations I heard Larry Mack have with the late Davey Allison. Larry Mack, when you would tell him to try to conserve fuel, what did he usually do?
He would tell me he's doing all he can do, and what I would tell him, remember, butterflies closed is saving fuel off the throttle, especially under caution.
And when he would do that, it would get faster on the lap times. Let's listen in.
Hi, Bud. Bayless is good. TV camera. Thank you very much there, FX.
Our director, Artie Kempner, says, you're welcome. We try to help.
The valence does look good. Inadvertently.
Here's Chris.
Brad Parrott running nude. That would be trouble on any network. You'll want to be with us tomorrow on Fox, right? They call it a streak. Jeff Gordon will go 10 laps with us on our
sung karaoke. I like hip hop. I like to rap, man.
pre-race show. He'll talk about the kind of music he enjoys. Lowe's Motor Speedway, our drive and ride. Jeff and DW give you a better feel for this track. Of course, we'll talk live with Jimmy Johnson, who has dominated Lowe's and has a chance to win here tonight. We'll go on the red carpet for the debut of the movie Cars. A number of stars, including our own DW in the animated movie. Gas and Go with our guys as well. They answer all the tough questions. That's on Fox, 5 Eastern, 2 Pacific. Casey Mears, we know about his ties to racing, but in high school, right, he played football with David Carr, the quarterback, former #1 NFL pick of the Texans. That won't help him now, but certainly Casey Mears in good position, but the last caution just puts some more competition a little bit closer to him.
Well, I wouldn't say that right there, Chris. I think right now Casey Mears needs to bow his neck for sure and show me what he used to do as far as being a middle linebacker, because they're getting ready to jump after him pretty hard. But I think he's in a good position. He's got a great crew chief up there, and I think they're doing a good job right now keeping him pumped up. His car's been fast. Every time anybody puts any pressure on him, he's able to kind of stretch it out. The key thing right now is whether or not the guys who took tires, like Jimmy Johnson, Martin Truex Jr., even, you know, all the way back to Jeff Burton, can these guys mount a charge here with only about 18 laps to go?
Carl Edwards has been mounting the charge. He has no wins, Carl, in his last 13 Busch Series races. He won at Phoenix last November.
I don't think he's got it. I don't think he's got anything for him. I think that it's going to be settled with one of the guys who put on tires. I think Casey can handle the rest of the guys who are just like he is.
And how about Kevin Harvick, as Darrell pointed out, back on the lead lap? The points leader who talked about this race, certainly how things can change in the bigger picture. Let's rejoin Darrell, Larry, and Mike.
Drivers who got their first Busch Series win here include Tim Richmond, Bobby Allison, Mike Bliss, Harry Gant, who won the first one in '82, Terry Labonte, Sterling Marlin, and Darrell Waltrip, who got his first official Busch win, although you won 3 late model sportsman races here before this became the Busch Series. Casey Mears trying to join that list.
The biggest thing about Casey Mears, there you see Jack Roush, the owner of Carl Edwards' car, the 60 car. It was not that many laps ago. Brad Parrott was trying to go about 76 laps on fuel. But because of the number of cautions, that number is now down to 72, which I think with the pace slowing down is a very realistic number.
Oh, yeah. Carl Edwards' mom, Nancy. How about Brad Parrott trying to beat the car he used to engineer to go to victory lane? Carl Edwards, number 60.
5 times last year in 2005 in third in points.
Here's where the 42 seems to always be able to get away from everybody. For about the first 7 or 8 laps of a run, he really stretches it out. You see right there, he just puts a lot of distance between those guys.
Mears had his first Nextel Cup win in the bag last November at Homestead, Miami. A debris caution spoiled his day with about 10 laps to go.
Boy, I'm going to tell you what, Carl Edwards pulls all the way up on the back of him, got to the throttle so much quicker through 3 and 4, right up on his rear bumper, 17 laps to go.
Carl was he got through the middle of the turn a lot better than Casey did. And again, he does it. You see him accelerate off the corner, getting back to the throttle a little earlier. And that's really making the difference right now. Casey's been able to stretch it earlier on these other restarts.
I'm going to tell you what, Darrell, that 42 car, he's a handling on that straightaway, though.
Oh, yeah, I see that, too. It's his mom right there on the left of your screen. Sacrificed a lot to get old Carl where he is right now. His whole family did.
15 to go. Carl Edwards just ran his fastest lap of the race.
Getting a little draft.
Concentrate on that good run off, and he cannot pass you.
Matt in the leader's pit.
And the 42 of Mears out front, Mike, but he just came on the radio and said the fuel light just came on.
Oh, boy.
Don't pay any attention to it. Just go until it quits.
Doesn't matter now.
Don't tell me that.
Now that light's on the fuel pressure gauge. It's not indicative of how much gas is in the tank, but the amount of pressure of the fuel being pumped from the tank.
Right, it can flicker. Now the fuel pressure can be jumping around, but that doesn't mean necessarily he's out of fuel. It's a warning. I'd be hard pressed to think you'd make it 15 laps with a warning.
13 laps, 19 and a half miles to go. Does he have 3.5 gallons left?
And he's starting to stretch it out on Carl Edwards now again. In fact, he just ran a 29.98, Carl Edwards, at a 30.15. But Darrell, we've seen this all week long with this harder tire. They're relying so much on aero that the car can catch the car in front of him, loses the downforce, can't go by him.
Just not enough grip.
Carl Edwards and J.J. Yaley in third, just each ran their fastest lap of the race.
Kevin Harvick in the 21 car, he just went by Kenny Wallace. That moves him up to 12th. Remember, he's only had one finish out of the top 10, 11th at Atlanta.
And you can see that 42 is starting to inch away from Carl in the 60.
Clear by 8.
And if that fuel light has flickered, if he's clear by 8, if he can just roll in the corner a little easy, pick up the throttle a little later, a little bit of fuel could be a lot.
A little bit harder, but you beat him off bad.
And that's exactly what you want to do. That's great information. Ease it in, let him close a little, but drive off hard.
11 laps, 17 miles to go as Harvick looks over Dave Blaney for 11th.
Now he's staring down the barrel of another top 10 finish with his 21 Coast Guard car.
What a recovery for Kevin Harvick tonight.
At 1.2 laps down, not that long ago.
Matt?
This team would love to get a win. On Wednesday night, Mike, Ron Perry, the parts department manager, passed away in his sleep. He was a Vietnam veteran, awarded the Purple Heart, a big, big popular person at Ganassi Racing. They would love to win this race tonight in his memory.
I think there might be an engine blowing up going down into turn 1. I don't know if he put down any oil
Caution
or not.
is out, boys. Caution is out.
I think it was a 4-car.
No,
Mark, the 6 car.
Now, what Casey Mears has to be careful here, we know he's getting low on fuel. He needs to somewhat stay off the banking under caution because the fuel will almost run away from that pickup. You got to be careful.
Yeah,
here.
I know, but I get nervous getting down on that flat.
Oh yeah, he don't need to get all the way on the flat, but he needs to be careful.
Yeah, hot tires picks up all that debris down there. You cut a tire down, he should be all right though.
12 caution flags tonight as Mark Martin coasts down pit road.
Boy, that's the second Roush engine that we've seen go tonight.
Tomorrow night, 600 miles for the Nextel Cup cars.
Roush Yates, I should say. Matt Kenseth earlier, and now Mark.
But I tell you, they still have 2 cars up in the top 10. Carl Edwards in the 60 in second, and rookie Todd Cleaver, great night for him in the 06 in 7th.
Randy LaJoie, who brought out the prior caution, crashing into the wall, just released from the care center. He's okay. And what about that second place car, Dick?
Well, Carl Edwards has just told Pierre Cattell, his crew chief, that he gets a bit tight behind car number 42, but he said, I have a plan. Didn't tell us what the plan was.
As long as he doesn't have another song.
I know. Well, no, I think the plan probably is past the 42 somehow or
yeah,
another.
no. Hey, Dick, if he goes low, I'll go high. Kind of go where he's not.
Yeah.
I think that's probably the plan. I think his other plan is to try to get him on the restart, because he looked like he was pretty good on the restart.
There you go. It's going to have to happen early, because we're going to be only probably about 5 to 7 laps when we get this thing restarted.
For Casey Mears, it's been a long time looking for his first NASCAR win in either the Busch or the Cup Series. I don't think it was ever a question of if, but a matter of when.
Got to surround yourself with the right people. You know you got talent. Got to give him the right people to get it out of him.
And right now, Casey Mears may be the hottest commodity on the free agent market at the end of this season. His contract ends at the end of this year with Chip Ganassi. They have been talking about a renewal, but there is lots of other interest in Casey Mears.
And he's probably he is the only hope, I think, realistically, that Ganassi has to get a car in the chase for the Nextel Cup for the first time. Right now, he's sitting 11th in Nextel Cup points, finished 2nd in the Daytona 500. And what I meant by running out of fuel on the caution, not on the green, the pickup in these fuel cells are in the right rear corner. When you go through the corners at speed, it keeps the fuel pushed over there. Under caution at 45, 50 miles per hour on the banking, it can run away from that pickup if you're not careful.
8 laps to go, 12 miles.
Yeah, a lot of these fuel cells have boxes in them that captures fuel, so it can hold a little fuel in there when it is at an angle like that.
Coming up next on FX, Rescue Me on the East Coast. Married with Children, for those of you out west. 1 to go. Down finger restart, the signal from the starter. That means single file, lead lap cars. There are 15 of them. They will restart up front. No free pass because we're under 10 laps to go. 4th straight Busch Series race at this track with 10 or more caution flags.
Now, the thing Casey Mears and Brad Parrott do not want to see is a caution that would put us in overtime, because that's more laps they'd have to run here.
Now, that could be trouble right there.
Right now, they're trying to run about 71 laps based on the number of cautions we've had since they last pitted on lap 112.
That's the downside to green-white checkered or finishing under the green is, man, you got it figured out right to the last ounce, and then they change the game on you.
If they have enough fuel to make it, it's a great strategy. If they don't, no one will remember past tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. Brad will.
Yeah. Casey.
Hi, Bud. You're the best man out there. Remember what I said. We come here for the trophy. Go get it.
That's Brad Parrott.
You and Tab from here on out.
And now it's time. It'll be 6 laps, 9 miles to go when they come to the stripe.
You know, Brad worked in the shadow of his brother, Todd, for years, and stepped out and got his crew chief job, got his crew chief license. Been doing a pretty darn good job ever since.
Casey Mears needs 2 gallons of that Sunoco race fuel to get to the pickup into that engine, and he needs to hold off Carl Edwards. Here we go.
Carl Edwards stayed right with him on that restart, like Darrell said. If he's going to get him, he's got to get him early.
Uh-oh,
he's out of gas. He's out of gas.
Out of gas.
Now it's picking up again.
Well, it probably it will a little bit, but
it's probably not going to make it 5.5 laps, though.
No.
From hero to heartbreak, Casey Mears is not going to win this one.
Well,
it appears, but
he's coming back.
Charging back.
And Darrell, it's almost like it starved for fuel that little bit of distance going off into turn 1.
When the fuel gets down that low, they can vapor lock a little bit on a restart.
Boy, Mears is hot and hungry.
He is on a mission right now.
He's going to come. He's coming back.
Too late, baby. Go get it.
There he goes.
I tell you, that's a bad hot rod right there right now. And that's a hot little driver behind the wheel.
Racing for 3rd with J.J. Yaley. Kurt Busch just ahead, and Carl Edwards long gone.
Yeah, I don't think he can catch Carl. Carl is checked out.
4 to go this time. But it's like his car just starved for fuel, that little distance from the start-finish line going off into turn 1.
Riding around under caution, on the banking, probably just didn't have a fuel load of good fuel pressure when he took the green flag there.
Yeah, it must have burped again coming off too, because here comes Yaley after him again.
It's like it's getting fuel, it's not getting fuel.
Still barely there.
He's still fighting it. 3 to go.
Outside of Yaley.
He's not giving up, I tell you that. He is driving the wheels off that thing.
Well, you heard Brad Parrott say it. They came here to get a trophy.
It looks like it's just, it looks like he's trying to lay down on him, but he may have enough to make it.
Now, this is all a battle for position. Jeff Burton in the 29, all the way back to his teammate Kevin Harvick in the 21, up to the 9th position, all over. Harvick has those fresher tires. 2 to go.
Cleaver and Sauter still nose to tail for best in class among the Busch regulars not racing in Cup.
I mean, Cousin Carl has just drove off in the sunset, a lap and a half to go, 2-second lead off into turn 3.
I think Carl said he had a plan, but I don't think this was, I don't necessarily believe this was it. But it is working out just fine, thank you.
White flag. Bring it back home one more time, baby.
Oh, you ease it down in there.
I wonder what song will be in his head in victory lane.
Now, Casey Mears in the 42 car still running up in the 4th position, has a pretty good lead over 5th place Martin Truex Jr. in the 8th.
Yeah, I think he was having more like fuel pickup issues rather than out of fuel. The thing is so low on fuel, he was just having trouble picking it up. Was he definitely going to make it home?
Carl Edwards' last win, November 2005 in Phoenix.
Look at this battle right here. This is a battle for 7th position, but Jimmy Johnson's going to take it. Kevin Harvick, though, with another top 10 finish in that 21 after being 2 laps down.
And an attaboy for Todd Cleaver.
You won it. Awesome job, guys. Really good car, man. Good job. So we'll tighten the center there at the end. Great job.
You talked to attaboy for Todd Cleaver. How about Regan Smith in the 35 car finishes 10th?
Well, you see what happens here, Larry. The 42 takes off. Everything looks good here. Then it just lays down right there. Just he shakes it around, gets some fuel coming back to the pickup, and away he went.
Oh boy, you know what it's time for, don't you?
Scorch the hides.
Well, there'll be a little something else before that, I think.
You know what I like? Look at these guys are coming. They know they don't want anything to happen to their driver. I think they're going to be standing there just in case he needs help.
Well, I like where he stopped next to the grass.
Yeah, that's
soft
smart.
Landing zone.
I think that's pretty smart. He hadn't done this for a while. He might be out of practice.
Oh, that was a beauty right there. I give it a 10.
Carl Edwards, first win of 2006 in the Busch Series. 10th top 10 finish in 13 races this year. 6 straight top 10s. Second top 5 in 3 Busch starts here.
And congratulations to Pierre Cattell, gets his first win as a crew chief for Carl Edwards.
There's Mom.
Edwards becomes the 10th different winner in 2006 and the second Ford driver to go to victory lane.
And he moves to 2nd in Busch Series points behind Kevin Harvick.
And Casey Mears, who led up to the last restart, comes home fourth. We'll go to victory lane after this.
The flip is back. The backflip signals a victory for Carl Edwards, the 26-year-old from Columbia, Missouri, and a victory for Roush Racing here at Lowe's Motor Speedway. And beneath the suns, our Steve Burns. Steve?
All right, thank you, Chris. With Carl Edwards, first of all, welcome back to victory lane. And the question is, if Casey Mears hadn't had problems with the fuel situation, could you have passed him, Carl?
I don't know. Casey was doing a great job, and you know, Brad Parrott and those guys are good, but I'm telling you, our AmeriQuest team was really good also. Our car was so great. I had a plan, man. I was going to really try to get him there and juke him a little bit on that last restart, and I was sad to see him lose it that way. But what a blast! I'm so glad to be back in victory lane. So happy for my team and for all my fans. Thanks for supporting us. We're going to try to win a thing tomorrow too, you know.
All right, congratulations, Carl. Thanks. Let's go to Matt Yoakum.
The Mears gang almost went to victory lane tonight. Just a little short on fuel there, Casey.
Yeah, it's pretty frustrating. I know you mentioned something earlier, but I just wanted to say hi to Ron Perry's family and also Bill Ellis's family. We lost a couple of good guys within the last month here at our shop, and we wanted to win one for them, you know. And man, I don't know what I have to do to win a race. You know, we lead these races. Last year, leading 2 or 3 right at the end of the Cup Series, and you know, something happened where we don't win. And you know, the guys did a really good job. We gambled to win this race. That's all we're here to do. We're not here for the points. And the Texaco Haviland Dodgers running really good. And you know, we took a gamble. And what happens is, you know, while we're on the straightaway, it just doesn't pick up enough fuel. And it starved itself for fuel on the restart. And as soon as I got in the corner, it picked up fuel again and took off. But just not enough for the restart.
He was here for the trophy, finishes 4th. Dick Berggren standing by with someone who's going after that bigger picture, the championship trophy.
Oh, yeah, and tonight was a big night for that. Kevin Harvick at 1 point down 2 laps, finished 8th. How'd you do that?
We had a good U.S. Coast Guard Chevrolet. Shane Wilson put a heck of a car into me. We made some pretty big mistakes there on pit road and got down a couple laps, but race car helped us out tonight. So good night for us, good rebound, and that's what makes championships.
Indeed it does. Let's go upstairs to Mike.
Thanks, Dick. The big gainers in the points tonight, Carl Edwards up 2 spots. J.J. Yaley gained 3 positions to 5th, and Kenny Wallace picked up 4 spots to 11th.
What's interesting about Clint Boyer, Denny Hamlin, J.J. Yaley battling in the points there, but remember, that's 3 of the guys that are battling for Rookie of the Year in Nextel Cup as well.
You know, it looks to me like it wouldn't be a bad idea to use the chase format in the Busch Series, because if you look at that point spread, 660 points, 10th place.
And how about Greg Biffle in 6th? He's running a limited schedule.
Pretty sporty. There's the logo for tomorrow night, Stock Car Racing's longest night, 600 miles for Nextel Cup. So we're going to get a good night's sleep, Chris, and be all ready for tomorrow.
Yeah,
right,
but
we
better
bring your work clothes.
Jimmie Johnson wound up 7th in this, his first Busch Series race of the year. That's a rough ride for him at Lowe's Motor Speedway, but Jeff, he'll be the guy to beat tomorrow. Before we talk about that, let's talk about what happened to Casey Mears in the sputtering and how Carl Edwards took advantage.
Well, the way the fuel cell is designed, it has a pickup over usually in the corner on the right-hand side. So when you go into the turns, all the fuel kind of moves to that pickup. And what we believe is when it got so low, that pickup really wasn't working like it needed to. Again, not enough fuel pressure down the straightaway when everything kind of levels out. In the turns, it was okay. But in the long run, what it did matter was the car starved itself for fuel, didn't run at full power. He got past and wound up 4th.
Worth mentioning, too, Kyle Busch was going for his 3rd consecutive spring Busch race here at Lowe's, and he wound up 23rd, a couple of laps down. Rescue Me coming up with Dennis Leary on the East Coast, married with children on the West Coast. Jeff, what we learned, this 300 miles, as Mike mentioned, it's 600 tomorrow for the Cup guys. What do you take from this and the drivers? More than half the field in this we'll see tomorrow.
I believe that all of them learned it. We got 2 grooves here at Charlotte now. We can run the top side or run right down on the white line, make some good solid passes. At the same time, because of the small fuel cell, Chris, we don't want to forget about that. These guys are going to have a lot of opportunity to work on their cars if it's not quite right. Remember, we start the race tomorrow evening in the afternoon during the sunlight. So we're going to go from sunlight to twilight to night. So you're going to need to have those adjustments to make the car really work. And I think a lot of these drivers right now will have confidence on what they need to do to their cars and how good these tires really are with this track.
Daylight to twilight, where our careers are, to darkness on FX. Well, tomorrow you'll want to tune in on Speed, begin and end your day. NASCAR Victory Lane wraps things up. The Coca-Cola 600, 5 o'clock Eastern, 2 o'clock Pacific. Darrell Waltrip, Larry McReynolds, Mike Joy to call the race from start to finish. We thank our entire pit crew, Steve Burns, Dick Berggren, happy birthday. Matt Yoakum for all your fine work. Also do want to remember Ronald Perry, who passed away Wednesday, a Vietnam veteran, served in the Marine Corps, won a Purple Heart. He was parts manager for Ganassi Racing. And for Casey Mears, you heard him talk about trying to win one for him. Mears ending up 4th. In victory lane at the end, it was Carl Edwards. Back to points racing tomorrow in the Coke 600. We hope to see you then. 5 o'clock Eastern, 2 o'clock Pacific on Fox. Enjoy the rest of your Memorial Day weekend.